Hello friends, and welcome to Jocelyn's Twilight Years, how to be a really old model. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year! This is my last tour of the year, and this is my last hotel of my last tour of the year. Can you recognise it? Do you think perhaps it is a travel lodge? It is a travel lodge. I love them. I've had a very busy year, and it's all been very lovely, and I very much enjoyed doing YouTube. Thank you. Given that the year is ending, I wanted to talk about a project that I embarked upon this year, and it was called Total Honesty. I decided that this year, in my interactions with people and in my social media interactions, that I would aim for total honesty, which doesn't sound a particularly dramatic thing to do, because I think a lot of us try to be relatively truthful, and certainly I've always tried to be relatively truthful. So what I meant by total honesty was not that I should stop lying to people, because I try not to do that anyway, but that I should try to as honest about my feelings and emotions, especially relating to my job, but also relating to other stuff, as possible, even in public forums. And I didn't really have any particular expectations about what would happen as a result of doing this, but it has been really interesting, so I thought I would just briefly tell you about it in case you were interested in trying it for 2019. So basically, the total honesty that I tried to communicate came in two forms. One, I tried to be honest about things that I like, people I like, and I tried to be more honest about sharing my feelings about people. So I tried to tell my friends that I loved them, when I guess in some ways it's kind of assumed that you would love your friends and your family, but I decided to try to volunteer that kind of information much more readily. And the other kind of total honesty I tried to go for, which is much more scary and difficult, is telling people when I disagreed with them, or when they'd hurt my feelings, or when I felt like they were being quite horrible in some way. This was very difficult for me because I, as many of us are, I have some insecurities. I want people to like me, and I don't assume that they will. So it's very easy when you feel as though you've managed to get under people's radar and that they do accept you, it's very difficult to rock that boat by perhaps challenging something that they've said or done. But the results of my Total Honesty project have been fascinating. I have to be truthful, I have lost some things that I considered to be friendships as a result. I have been blocked by a couple of people on social media. But the positives massively outweigh the negatives, because I have made friends with people both online and in real life that I never saw the potential to do. I've met up with people from my past, like, as those of you who follow me elsewhere will know, I met up with one of my sixth form teachers who had a profound effect upon my life, and I told him all about my job, and I told him how much of a positive impact he had on my life. And I suppose in some ways almost the most profound thing that's happened as a result of my trying to be very honest with people is that people have reciprocated by being very honest with me. So I'm ending 2018 knowing so much more about the people in my life than I knew at the beginning of 2018. And I feel as though almost all of the time that has been a completely positive thing. I think that probably a lot of us are somewhat, maybe we feel as though we could do with more friends than we have. And I think I have often felt, because I spend a lot of time working, I've often felt my circle of friends is actually very small. Although I love the friends I have, there are not hundreds and hundreds of them. But through being more open with people I consider to be strangers, I am ending this year feeling so much more connected to a larger number of people who are really precious in my life. Even friends you don't get to meet, or don't get to meet very often. Those friendships can be real if you end up speaking to someone most days on some internet platform. So I think I'm going to try to continue my Total Honesty project into 2019, because it has been wonderful, and I am ending this year feeling so much more supported by the people in my life, and I feel as though there are so many more people in my life. Also, through the total honesty project of mine. I feel as though the people I work with, the photographers I work with, and I have found out a lot more about each other and probably understand each other better and are more sympathetic towards each other as a result of just being prepared to sometimes show weakness, show things you've been struggling with. This year I've cried in front of a lot more people than I have ever cried in front of before. And while I don't completely recommend it because I think it's challenging, probably for the person who gets cried on by surprise, I do feel as though sharing your actual emotional honesty makes a really big difference to how connected you feel with people. So this is a very atypical update because it's really nothing to do with modelling. The only reason it's got anything to do with modelling is because I'm a model, so my total honesty has taken the form of being honest to my photographers and to my fans and to my colleagues. That's all. But if you can, I totally recommend having a go at this in 2019. The effect it's had on my life has been remarkable, and I don't really ever feel like I'm alone anymore because I feel just so much more connected with the people I'm around. It sounds as though what I've done in 2018 is experiment with drugs a lot. I have not been particularly experimental with drugs. I've just been experimenting with my own brain, which is wonderful. Not my brain, I mean it's wonderful experimenting with your brain. Thank you for listening. I will be back 12 times in 2019 with possibly some modelling related updates. Who knows what will happen? I might have to rant about mansplainers. You just don't know. Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for your support. I really appreciate it more than I can communicate, although I'm working on communicating that better. Thank you. Bye-bye.